our first speaker today will be Kato Sebunya Emma from the SynBio for All Africa initiative. And he's focused on creating educational resources for African students to learn about synthetic biology and helping to improve education throughout the continent through improving SynBio literacy, fostering bioeconomy growth, and advocating for biosafety and biosecurity. He'll be talking about the role of his initiative in the education about synthetic biology in Africa. Go ahead, Emma.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alex, and everyone who is watching us right now and listening to us from every part of the world. I am sorry that my voice may get lost at some times because my voice is not very clear. I am Kato Sebunya Emma. I'm from Uganda. I have just finished my bachelor's degree from Makerere University in Kampala, Uganda. I am the founder of SynBio for All Africa, an initiative aiming at promoting synthetic biology across Africa. This initiative works under 4 main objectives, which is improving synthetic biology literacy in Africa, promoting the bioeconomy and bioentrepreneurship of Africa, building capacity in biosafety, biosecurity, and also championing for the rights of the underrepresented groups of people in STEM in Africa. So in Africa, synthetic biology has been there for quite a number of years, and many people have come to know about synthetic biology. But for today, I'm going to talk about synthetic biology in Africa, looking at the advancements, the challenges, and the transformative role which SynBio for All Africa has brought on board in the ecosystem of synthetic biology in Africa. I will start by giving a brief overview about synthetic biology generally, which is basically the understanding the basics and importance of scientific advancements generally. So if we look at Africa in general, there are very many, an overview of synthetic biology in Africa in general. There is different ways through which synthetic biology is applied in Africa. In Africa, synthetic biology is applied both in the biomedical field, the environmental field, and the industrial field. In the biomedical field, we see application in therapeutics, in diagnostics, in gene therapies, like maybe in therapeutics, we see innovations of new treatment methods, new drugs to different diseases. In diagnostics, we see like maybe the innovations in new diagnostic tools, and in gene therapies. So in environmental, we see synthetic biology is applied in bioremediation and in biofuels, and in the industrial sector, synthetic biology is applied in bioproduction and in other materials. So we have got key advances across all domains. Different domains in Africa, there has been different advancements along the years. Like if you try to compare the scale, the landscape of synthetic biology in Africa currently is completely different to the landscape of synthetic biology as it was in the early 2000s. because in the early 2000s, the knowledge was very low, and I think by that time it was only distributed in South Africa. It went on improving as years went on moving, and we attribute these advancements, much of them, we attribute these advancements to the people who have decided to concentrate much on synthetic biology, more especially the people from South Africa and the people from Uganda, Egypt, and Ghana, plus Kenya. They have played a big role in bringing new advancements in the synthetic biology of Africa. The landscape of synthetic biology in Africa has really completely changed. But on top of the people who have done great work in advancing synthetic biology in Africa, here comes a group of young students who also wanted to add on a block on the development and advancement of synthetic biology in Africa. And this group is SynBio for All Africa. SynBio for All Africa has also contributed much to the advancement of synthetic biology in Africa. In general, if we try to discuss, we look at SynBio for All Africa has improved the bioentrepreneurship landscape of Africa. How has this happened? SynBio for All Africa has been carrying out training. SynBio for All Africa has been carrying out mentorships in line with synthetic biology generally, to ensure that all these advancements come on board. Through the different trainings and mentorships, we have seen more new startups coming on board in Africa. Many students, like in Africa, many students, many academicians have involved themselves in the entrepreneurship, by entrepreneurship, and we are seeing a great improvement being brought about by SynBio for All, SynBio for All Africa. So we also look at the advocacy for inclusivity and rights, which has been also a big role played by SynBio for All Africa. Initially, it was like, I will use an example of like women in Africa. Initially, they are not like, maybe they were not recognized in the community. Their role in the community was not recognized. But SynBio for All Africa, we have not taken a lot of time when we are in this field. It's just, we are soon just celebrating a year when we are in the field. But it's a great achievement that the many underrepresented groups in Africa, because in Africa, women, we also look at them as underrepresented. Women have been brought on board in synthetic biology. We are still fighting hard to champion for the rights of women in STEM generally, not only in synthetic biology, in STEM, and other groups of the underrepresented people, because in Africa, as you know, at times identifying yourself maybe as a certain group, or maybe subscribing to a certain religion, it can make you to be undermined, like maybe in the society. But as SynBio for All, we have tried our best to ensure that everyone in Africa is equally represented and is equally respected. We have had improvement in SynBio literacy across Africa, and my case study for this presentation is going to be basically on this point of improving SynBio literacy in Africa. And then we have also done capacity building in biosafety and biosecurity. We have brought about an key advances in the field of responsible use of biological materials. We have dived deep in the field of biosafety and biosecurity, because as we are getting many people who are using synthetic biology, many things are coming on board. You will find like also the misuse of synthetic biology will also be coming on board. Many people will misuse synthetic biology. As we know very well, like engineering biology, it can do roles in diagnostics, it can do roles in therapeutics, but also we shouldn't forget that people can use engineering biology or synthetic biology to do biological weapons. So as SynBio for All Africa, we are trying hard to build the capacity in biosafety and biosecurity, and also to create like maybe a monitoring system of how people are safely using the biological materials which come as a result of synthetic biology. So I would like also to showcase our impact using improving synthetic biology literacy in Africa, using it as a case study. I would like to showcase what we have done so far. Currently, SynBio for All Africa, in Africa, we didn't have any institution offering synthetic biology as a course or engineering biology. Students who are practicing synthetic biology or engineering biology, they just practice it from the knowledge they attain from either the basics of molecular biology, the basics of bioinformatics, and biotechnology as a whole. But what we have been doing as SynBio for All Africa, we came up with a course known as beginner's course for synthetic biology. But this beginner's course, it's just part of the course which we are offering. The course we are offering is a broader course. It contains the beginner's course, it contains the intermediate course, it contains the advanced course, and the relationship of synthetic biology and other fields, the fields which may not be in the life science space. Let's say fields of engineering, electrical, computing. So as SynBio for All, we started up this, we drafted a curriculum, and we did all this with the help of some members from the Engineering Biology Research Consortium. We drafted a curriculum and we ran a 6-week course, whereby we managed to train over 50 students for our first cohort. And all these 50 students correctly answered the assignments which we gave them, which was an indicator that they understood whatever was being told. Many topics were taught, topics ranging from genetic circuits, the central dogma of synthetic biology, applications of synthetic biology, and a lot other fields of synthetic biology were taught to these students. And we are happy that currently in Africa, we have over 50 students who have got introduction to synthetic biology. And this course is still continuing. And very soon in April, we shall be starting up the intermediate course, whereby we shall enroll our students who have finished the beginner's course to proceed with them in the intermediate course. So apart from SynBio for All Africa, we have got some other companies and organizations which have also done some advancement in synthetic biology. We have got the key organizations or companies which have done, which have played a bigger role in the SynBio space of Africa. We have got many of them, but I have identified a few. I personally, which I feel that they are key stakeholders in the advancement of synthetic biology across the continent of Africa. I have identified 4 companies, that is Inqaba Biotec company. I have identified SynBio Africa or Synthetic Biology Africa. I have identified Neu-Bioscience and Mboalab. These organizations have been doing a great work in different fields, but all regarding to synthetic biology. I would like to start with Inqaba Biotec. Inqaba Biotec is a company which has done a lot of work, basically in synthesizing DNA. To advance synthetic biology in a way that DNA became available for any researcher, for any student who wanted to do his or her project at any time. DNA became available. It was no longer a challenge to get DNA because of what Inqaba Biotec is and was doing. If at all we try to look a little bit at the history of Inqaba Biotec, Inqaba Biotec started in around 2000, and it was founded by two individuals, Dr. Oliver Priseg and Dr. Joachim Digama. These were all from South Africa, and currently it is distributed in some parts of Africa, and it is doing a great work. It's distributed in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal, and it has really done a lot of work apart from synthesizing DNA. They have done a lot of sequencing using Sanger sequencing, using next generation sequencing, and they have helped many researchers on their projects using bioinformatics tools. Their work in the advancement of synthetic biology in Africa, it is highly recognized. When we go ahead, we look at SynBio Africa. SynBio Africa has also done a great work in advancing the synthetic biology in Africa. The great work which SynBio Africa has done, it has majorly specialized in conferences, and so far it has organized two successful international synthetic biology and biosecurity conferences. And very soon they will be hosting the third international synthetic biology conference. Their work is really good and very commendable, and it has done a lot of advancements in synthetic biology across the continent. We look at Neu-Bioscience, another biotech company in Africa, which has done a great work in advancing the landscape of synthetic biology in Africa. Neu-Bioscience was founded by Sandra Martini. Its headquarters are in Uganda, and their main work, they basically do technical assistance and professional services in areas of biosafety, biosecurity, bioinformatics, and quality management systems. They have helped many laboratories in trainings about like maybe ISO, in trainings about safety, security for lab workers, writing protocols and SOPs for different laboratories in Africa. And the advancement of synthetic biology in Africa, development of synthetic biology in Africa, you can't talk about it without commenting about their work. And finally, we look at the Mboalab, which is in Cameroon, founded by someone called Thomas Mboa. The biggest thing they do, Mboalab is a community lab, and which is something very special. It's a community lab which is engaging all communities from Africa. Basically, what they do, they bring on board the local people, whether from science or from outside the science field, and they help in mentorships and providing open science to all these people to learn more and understand the deeper sides of science. And this really has encouraged many people to join the science field of Africa. And that's why you see, as we are moving on, years are moving on, the Mboalab is doing a great job And many students, many academicians, and many other local people from the community have benefited a lot from the Mboalab. But no matter all that work that has been done by SynBio for all Africa and other biotech companies across Africa and other organizations, there are some challenges which are facing the synthetic biology in Africa, advancement of synthetic biology in Africa, and developing it. A lot of challenges are there, but there are some major challenges which are hindering the development of synthetic biology in Africa. One of the challenges is funding and the infrastructure. I would like to say that a lot of projects are in Africa, and many students, many academicians, many community members have got a lot of scientific projects which they have maybe in proposal form, or maybe some of them have worked on them partially. But it's very unfortunate that you find like there is little funding for these projects. And at least we are happy Gogec has tried to solve this issue of funding, because now, as like I will use an example of students. If a student needs to attend an international competition, this student no longer needs to raise large sums of money to attend an international competition. Gogec is available for this student, and that's a very good thing. But no matter, although Gogec is around, the infrastructure development is still very low. I will use an example. We had a project which we were working on. By that time, I was still an undergrad student. But it was very unfortunate that the infrastructure we have in Uganda couldn't help us to do cloning. And when we tried to consult from our neighbors in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Ghana, they were all like the same as Uganda. They could also not do the cloning until we got a collaboration with a certain lab in the UK, which helped us to do the cloning. So you see, like the infrastructure development of Africa is still very low, and it hinders so much the research to go ahead. Then another challenge which is being faced by the people in the ecosystem of synthetic biology and the synthetic biology community at large, it is the regulatory framework. In Africa, we have got like maybe, I would like to say most countries in Africa have got strict laws, and some of them are not clear on guiding on the use of GMOs, on the use of like maybe engineering biology. The regulatory frameworks on biosafety and biosecurity, they are not very clear. These regulations, you find like maybe they are not favoring the researcher, they are not favoring the government. So it is something in between. It's not very clear who is being favored. No one is being favored, because on the side of government, the laws which are available, they hinder science and innovation. And yet you find most of the African governments, they are encouraging science and innovation, but the laws which are there are hindering the science and innovation. So it delays on the development of science, technology, and innovation. When you come on the side of the researcher, it becomes very hard for the researcher to do some of the research, simply because of the laws which are there. And also you find like, even if a researcher has done something, has maybe innovated something, there are the regulatory bodies which are supposed to regulate on the handling, on the usage, are not clearly developed. So you find it's a very big challenge to most of the researchers across the continent. no matter of the challenges which are being faced, and also the current advancements which Africa has attained as a continent, and SynBio for All we have attained as an initiative, there is still a very big future for synthetic biology in Africa. Since we know very well that Africa is a home of many biodiversities, so we still have a very big future. A lot of discoveries, a lot of innovations are still there and still need to be worked on. So a lot of innovation need to be worked on. A lot of innovations need to be worked on in Africa, and we have a bright future, just if at all we get a way of handling the bright future, we get a way of streamlining it and solving the problems which we are facing currently. So many things can be done currently and maybe in the future, maybe to develop the synthetic biology community, the ecosystem of synthetic biology in Africa. Many things can be done. But some of those things which can be done, they will help in the advancement of synthetic biology in the healthcare system. So if we look at the healthcare system, there will be the utilizing of synthetic biology to develop like maybe affordable, because currently the diagnostic tools on market, maybe also vaccines on market, the treatment which we have in Africa for preventing different diseases is attained at a very high cost. You can get it at a very high cost. But with new advancements in healthcare systems using synthetic biology tools in Africa, we shall get, we hope to get maybe cheaper and affordable healthcare system and a well-developed healthcare system. When we look at agriculture and innovation in the future, we hope that the agriculture of Africa will improve. I will use an example. Currently, the agriculture system of Africa is less developed because we are using much more of the indigenous seeds in agriculture, indigenous breeds of animals which are less resistant to diseases, which give less yield. But with the advancement of synthetic biology in Africa, we are hoping to see a future whereby we have crops which are resistant to diseases and give us a very high yield compared to the current crops which we have on market currently. There will be new environmental solutions because currently the environment is being suppressed. But in the future, we are looking at, as we go on advancing the synthetic biology system of Africa, we are looking at a future whereby we shall be engineering different microorganisms which are capable of like maybe bioremediation and like maybe facilitating in the cleanup of pollutions and all that things which we are seeing going on. We shall see advancements in industrial applications such as new startups. We shall have new startups. New industries will be built in Africa in the future, because we see this is the future we are looking at for Africa as SynBio for All. And this is the future which we really feel like maybe everyone will be happy in enjoying in Africa. And then finally, we shall also have advancements in climate mitigation. Currently, Africa is suffering a very big challenge of climate change, But we look at the future whereby new innovations are coming on board to counteract the climate changes, and we hope this will be achieved with maybe working together, collaborations, and different networks. So the role of in the future which we need, everyone has got a role to play. But here I will present the role which SynBio for All Africa has played. As SynBio for All Africa, we promise to continue promoting research and innovation as we have been doing it, to ensure that we be in that future whereby we have a good healthcare system, new agriculture innovations, and all that. We shall continue promoting innovations and entrepreneurship, because currently we are promoting many innovations, we are supporting many innovations, we are encouraging many researchers and scientists to dive into the startup field, to start up new companies. But we shall continue doing this, and we shall continue to do it in a more modernized way, I can say, maybe by collaborating with more successful companies to give support to these enthusiasts who want to start up new companies in Africa, maybe looking for internship opportunities for young Africans to go maybe in Asia, to go in Europe, to go in America to do internships, and they come back and apply the knowledge and train the local communities on the new technologies which maybe they could have acquired from abroad. Also, we shall ensure that we continue advocating for the inclusivity and diversity. And this is really a very big challenge which we are still facing, because in Africa, when someone describes him or herself as someone who is subscribing to a certain sect, that person, instead of being supported, is just persecuted and fought. But as SynBio for All Africa, we shall ensure that we continue engaging these individuals, we bring them on board and continue supporting them with the work which they are doing in line with STEM. And we shall continue driving the socio-economic impact, whereby relating, because culture in Africa has got a different perspective towards science. So sensitizing the local people about how can science relate with culture. You remain believing in your culture, but also science remains developing, not like maybe not leaving out science just because of the culture which you believe in. And also, we shall ensure sustainable growth through deploying the solutions of synthetic biology to address the challenges which the local communities are facing, basically here in our African region. And finally, on the driving socioeconomic impact, we shall continue engaging the policymakers, engaging governments, engaging the parliaments of different countries to try at least and they bring policies, they draft policies which can favor the development of science and research in Africa. Basically, we need to engage them to bring on board supportive regulatory frameworks which will continue supporting the researchers and the collaborators, maybe the international community, to continue supporting Africa in regards with developing the synthetic biology in Africa. And finally, we shall continue advancing the climate solutions. And currently, we are, as SynBio for All Africa, we are advancing climate solutions through, we have a program which we are running currently, and maybe if you are interested, you can join us. The program we are running, it is a competition, a proposal writing competition, and in this competition, we are calling upon all Africans who are interested in climate change mitigation to write proposals on how we can use synthetic biology to mitigate the climate changes. And very soon, maybe after getting some funders and some supporters to support us, we shall choose the 4 best proposals from different regions, from East Africa, from North Africa, South Africa, and West Africa. And the winners of the best writers of these proposals, we are hoping to award them with around $200 each, and also to support them, to connect them with different companies abroad which are working on climate change mitigation. And we also look at supporting these projects which to make them startups. Either for those ones who are willing, we shall make them startups for SynBio for all Africa. And for those who are not willing, we shall help them to start their own companies, and we support these companies as SynBio for all Africa. As I conclude, I would like to send my appreciation to everyone for listening to me, and thank you for keeping online for all these minutes. I understand it's not easy, and I am ready to receive any question from your side. You can follow SynBio for all Africa on LinkedIn. It is SynBio for all Africa. On Twitter, it is at SynBio for all A. And on YouTube, it is SynBio for all Africa. And we have a website, which is www.synbioforall/wix.site. Thank you so much for listening to me, and waiting for the questions, if at all there is any. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for speaking, Emma. That was really interesting. So if anyone has any questions, they can unmute themselves or ask them in the chat or raise their hands with the reaction. Any of those would work. And also, I have a question myself I was wondering about a bit, which is, so you mentioned that there were all these challenges and then also things you're trying to do to overcome these challenges. I guess, what would you look at as maybe in the best indicators that things are getting better? Would it be like students graduating or startups founded or events hosted, or like what do you think the best indicators for improving the SynBio landscape in Africa would be?
Okay, thank you so much, Alex, for that question. There may be very many indicators which are identifiable and those ones which are not identifiable. But the major indicators which we can look at that the landscape of SynBio in Africa is growing. One of them is when the African governments come on board and start supporting SynBio. That will be one of the indicators to show that really we have done a great job, because we are working, targeting them to bring them on board. Another indicator will be when we start looking at many people, not only students, but many people coming in line of synthetic biology, because currently, if you call upon people in synthetic biology, few people have the knowledge of synthetic biology. But when people start engaging in discussions about synthetic biology, their numbers increases. That will be another indicator to show that really we have done a great work. So the third indicator, which SynBio for all Africa is using to measure its achievement, it is the indicators of new associations of synthetic biology starting up in Africa. Because we expect, when we mentor students, we don't expect them to remain linked on SynBio for all Africa. We expect them to go out and start up new companies and start up new associations and start up new organizations in their respective countries. That will be really a very good indicator that synthetic biology is growing in Africa. Yeah, thank you for that question.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Did anyone else have a question? Oh, okay. Alexander Fenner.
Hi, Emma. How much do you see this as an initiative being driven by kind of young people and as an education platform for young people versus something where you need buy-in from, I guess, more established academics or more established policymakers?
Alex, I beg your question. My network just, I beg your pardon in the question. My network just slid a little.
Sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so the question is, how much is this SynBio for All Africa initiative going to be driven by kind of young people educating themselves and engaging amongst themselves versus trying to bring in people who are already established academics within Africa or established policymakers within Africa? Where's that kind of balance?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Alex, for that question. Initially, when we were starting SynBio for All Africa, we started it as very young students. And when we tried to bring on board people who were established, like maybe the academics and those people in the industrial sector, they undermined us. They thought that maybe what we were talking about, we were not meaning it, and maybe we were not understanding what we were talking about, because synthetic biology was a very new field which was just being introduced in Africa by SynBio Africa. And so when we brought on board SynBio for All Africa, people felt like we were bringing it on board, relating it with SynBio Africa. But people were undermining both SynBio Africa and SynBio for All Africa. But how we are going to solve that and bring the academia on board, we bring the industry, the people in the industry on board, it is by strictly insisting on our objectives and fulfilling them. We have a belief that after fulfilling our objectives, many people will see the impact SynBio for All Africa is doing, and we are sure they will join us. Because I will use an example, there is even a professor I wrote an email to informing this professor about synthetic biology, trying to explain to him about synthetic biology. This professor just responded and told me that those are technologies for the white, which cannot be done from Africa because we don't have infrastructure. There are things which you need to do and you don't have the infrastructure to do them here in Africa. Stop wasting your time. Please concentrate. Concentrate, maybe do other things which are available in Africa. But as an organization, we were not shaken. We felt that we have a mandate to prepare for the next generation. It may not be a benefit for this generation, but a benefit for the next generation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. It definitely is interesting that the established groups were kind of undermining you. Do you have why do you think that they were so opposed to kind of some of the things you and other groups like SynBio Africa were working on, whereas it sounds like younger students and stuff were more open to it?
Okay. For SynBio Africa, when it was coming on board, SynBio Africa came on board with a very interesting idea, which was organizing of conferences, and many people believed in it quickly because they were seeing the high-profile people who were being invited at SynBio Africa to attend the conferences. But for us, we came through another direction of literacy, improving synthetic biology literacy in Africa. A direction which is not so much exciting, like maybe if you could invite someone to a conference and then you are inviting someone to attend an online lecture of 2 hours, a person feels it's very boring and it takes a lot of time for this person to have trust in you, compared if you could invite a person for a conference. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, did anyone else have any other questions about SynBio for All Africa or the state of synthetic biology education in Africa? Okay, then I think uh, we can take a short break before our next speaker, who will begin speaking in 13 minutes, I think. And thank you so much for speaking. That was really interesting to hear, since I think a lot of people from outside Africa might not know the state of, synthetic biology education and advancements and everything in Africa. So very cool to hear from you. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Alex, and the entire team at Gogec for the invite.